welcome the rare gems. The moment she stops being available to everyone is the moment she becomes unforgettable. There comes a point in every Sigma female's life when she stops explaining, stops apologizing, and stops letting the wrong people touch her peace. This isn't pride, and it's not bitterness. It's self-respect, finally finding its voice. She's been through enough silent betrayals, fake friendships, and one-sided love to understand that not everyone deserves access to her world. When a Sigma female becomes completely untouchable, it's not because she's pushing people away. It's because she's protecting what took years to rebuild. She's learned that peace costs energy, and not everyone can afford the price. You'll notice something about her. She no longer rushes to reply, to explain, or to prove. Her silence has become her power. Her calm is not weakness, it's discipline. She doesn't seek attention because she's too busy protecting her energy. And the moment she becomes untouchable, people start realizing just how much her presence once grounded them. If you're a Sigma female watching this, understand this truth. Becoming untouchable is not about isolation. It's about evolution. It's where you stop chasing love and start attracting peace. It's where you stop begging to be understood and start walking in your truth, quietly and fearlessly. So, stay till the end of this video, because what happens next when a Sigma female reaches this state will remind you of the power you've always had, but forgot you carried. Let's dive into it. The rare gems. Number 1. She becomes the mystery. Everyone wants, but few can handle. There's something quietly hypnotic about a Sigma female who no longer needs to prove anything. She walks into a room and instantly changes the energy without saying a word. Her calm isn't empty, it's controlled. Her confidence isn't loud, it's rooted. And her lack of need isn't arrogance, it's freedom. That's what makes her magnetic, and at the same time, impossible for most people to handle. People are drawn to her because she gives off the feeling of having cracked a code everyone else is still trying to figure out. She doesn't chase validation, yet she receives admiration. She doesn't beg for love, yet she inspires it. She doesn't try to fit in, yet somehow she stands out in every crowd. It's not something she forces, it's who she's become after outgrowing drama, mind games, and the need to please anyone. But here's the twist. The same traits that pull people toward her also make them nervous. Her calm exposes other people's chaos. Her self-assurance highlights their insecurities. Her independence reminds them of how dependent they still are on approval. She doesn't play the usual emotional games, and that confuses those who survive on manipulation. She's not mysterious because she hides. She's mysterious because she no longer overshares. She's not cold, she's selective. She lets people see only what she chooses, and that makes others both curious and unsettled. People want to understand her, but the closer they get, the more they realize she can't be owned, fixed, or controlled. That's the irony. Everyone wants the mystery, but few can handle the truth behind it. Because to love a Sigma female is to face your own reflection, and not everyone is ready for that. Her calm becomes a mirror, her silence becomes a lesson, and her presence becomes a reminder that real power never needs to demand attention. It simply exists, effortlessly. Number 2. People try to re-enter, but the door has no handle. When a Sigma female closes a door, it stays closed, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. People often realize her worth only after they've lost access to it. They come back expecting the same warmth, the same understanding, the same patience she once gave so freely. But what they find instead is a door with no handle. You can knock all you want, but she's not coming back to reopen what she already healed from. She's not the same woman who tolerated being misunderstood just to keep the peace. She's not the one who stayed quiet while others drained her energy. the version of her you knew existed when she still believed that love meant endurance. Now she understands that love without respect is a slow death, and she's done dying for people who only appreciated her in pieces. When people try to re-enter her life, they're often shocked at how calm she is about their absence. She doesn't seek closure because she already gave it to herself. She doesn't replay what went wrong because she learned the lesson. She doesn't chase, argue, or explain. She simply moves differently, lighter, sharper, and wiser. This is what makes her untouchable. Her forgiveness doesn't come with re-entry. Her peace doesn't come with invitations. She's learned that protecting her energy is more important than proving her loyalty to those who misused it. And that door? It's not locked out of anger. It's sealed out of growth. She knows that reopening old wounds only bleeds into new beginnings. So she lets people knock. She lets them realize what they lost, and she keeps walking. Because once a Sigma female evolves, there's no going back. The chapter is closed, the lesson is learned, and the story has moved on, without them. Number 3. The wrong people feel. There's a certain unease that fills the room when a Sigma female walks in. Not because she's rude or intimidating on purpose, but because her presence naturally forces people to check themselves. She doesn't need to say much. Her energy alone makes people more aware of their tone, their words, and even their intentions. That's what happens when someone carries quiet confidence. It exposes everything that isn't genuine. The wrong people can't relax around her because she doesn't feed the games they live on. She won't stroke egos, laugh at fake jokes, or play along with false humility. She's polite, yes, but she's not performative. There's no pretending with her, and that's exactly what makes the shallow, manipulative, and insecure feel uneasy. Her calm feels like a mirror, and that reflection can be uncomfortable for anyone hiding behind masks. She doesn't have to call anyone out directly. Her self-respect does that for her. The way she holds her boundaries, the way she refuses to shrink to make others comfortable, the way she speaks with clarity instead of fear, all of it quietly demands accountability. The people who thrive on manipulation sense that they can't get away with the same tricks, and it unsettles them. Yet those who are genuine find peace in her presence. They feel grounded, safe, and seen. Because when someone lives in truth, they create an atmosphere where only truth can survive. That's why the wrong ones back away while the right ones draw closer. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Her self-respect acts like a filter that naturally removes anyone who doesn't match her frequency. The ones who stay understand that her strength isn't meant to challenge others. It simply reveals who's ready to meet her at that level and who's still hiding from their own reflection. Number 4. Her energy stops being accessible. There comes a moment when a Sigma female's energy shifts, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly and completely. People can still see her, talk to her, even share space with her, but something feels different. It's as if she's there, yet out of reach. The same people who once fed off her warmth can now sense a gentle wall around her. Not cold, not bitter, just unreachable in a way that feels final. This happens when she's given too much of herself for too long. When she's poured into others who only took, listened to those who never heard, and loved those who mistook her kindness for weakness. Eventually, she learns the value of her energy, and that lesson changes everything. Her presence is still magnetic, but it no longer belongs to everyone. You can feel her peace, but you can't disturb it. You can talk to her, but you can't manipulate her emotions anymore. She'll listen with empathy, but not with attachment. She has learned the difference between connection and access, and that's where her quiet power lies. People who once depended on her energy start to feel the distance. They sense the door has closed, even if she's still smiling. They feel her boundaries without her needing to announce them. She's emotionally present yet untouchable, like sunlight through glass, warm but never held. And here's the truth. Once she reaches this stage, she becomes almost ethereal. Her peace glows from within. Her silence speaks volumes, and her energy feels sacred. Not because she's hiding, but because she finally understands that not everyone deserves to touch her spirit. Those who come with genuine intentions feel welcomed. Those who come to take find nothing left to take. Her energy is still there, just no longer for sale, and that's when she becomes truly untouchable. Number 5. She stops being reactive. When a Sigma female stops being reactive, everything about her presence changes. The same things that used to trigger her barely get a blink now. She has learned that not every battle deserves a response, and not every insult deserves attention. People who once knew how to get under her skin now find themselves frustrated because their tricks no longer work. It is not that she no longer feels. She has simply learned to master her emotions instead of letting them master her. She has discovered that reacting gives power away. The moment you respond in anger or panic, you hand someone control of your peace. She refuses to do that anymore. So when someone provokes her, she observes instead of reacts. She studies patterns instead of defending herself. Her silence becomes her response, and that silence often says more than words ever could. People mistake her calm for coldness, but it is actually strength. It takes discipline to stay still while chaos tries to pull you in. It takes maturity to listen to nonsense without the need to correct it. She has become selective with her emotions because she finally understands how expensive they are. Her peace costs too much to be spent on petty arguments or attention seekers. Those who once thrived on her reactions begin to realize the truth. The control they had over her was only temporary. It existed because she allowed access to her emotions. Once she took that access back, their power disappeared. Now they can push, provoke, and poke, but nothing moves her. That's when she becomes untouchable, not because she's built walls, but because she's built emotional intelligence. She knows exactly when to speak, when to walk away, and when to let silence do the work. Her stillness becomes her superpower, calm, firm, and impossible to manipulate. Number 6. Time becomes her most guarded treasure. There comes a stage in a Sigma female's life when she realizes that time is the one thing she can never get back. That's when everything changes. She stops giving her time to people who only bring confusion, to conversations that go nowhere, and to relationships that feel like work with no reward. She starts guarding her time like sacred currency, because she finally understands that how she spends it shapes who she becomes. Her days are no longer filled with meaningless noise. She has learned to say no, softly, firmly, and without apology. She no longer fills her schedule just to feel productive. Instead, she fills her life with things that bring her peace, purpose, and growth. Every minute now has to count. If it does not help her evolve, it simply does not belong. This shift often confuses people who are used to her constant availability. They start to notice that her replies come slower, her invitations are rare, and her circle gets smaller. But it's not distance out of pride, it's clarity. She knows who drains her and who inspires her. She knows the difference between being busy and being fulfilled. When she guards her time, she guards her energy. She knows that every second spent in chaos is one stolen from calm. Every unnecessary argument steals time from self-growth. So she invests her time where it multiplies, in learning, healing, creating, and connecting with those who bring value instead of drama. People who don't understand this new version of her might call her detached. But those who truly know her see the truth. She's not detached, she's discerning. She values her time because she values her peace. And once she starts treating time like treasure, her life begins to reflect it. Simple, balanced, and beautifully untouchable. Number 7. She doesn't chase, she chooses. There comes a point when a Sigma female stops running after people and starts choosing them. She no longer chases attention, approval, or validation because she's finally learned the difference between being wanted and being valued. The endless pursuit of proving herself, fixing others, or earning love has lost its meaning. She now measures every connection with one honest question. Does this add peace or chaos? In the past, she may have poured into relationships that drained her. She might have mistaken effort for loyalty or thought that love meant endurance. But experience taught her that peace is the highest form of connection. So now, she observes more than she speaks. She watches how people treat her silence, how they respond to her boundaries, and whether their presence feels calm or chaotic. When she stops chasing, her energy changes. She becomes more grounded, more deliberate, and less available. The same people who once took her for granted start to notice the difference. The calm confidence, the stillness, the lack of emotional hunger. She no longer begs to be understood or fights to be seen. She simply chooses who aligns with her peace and lets the rest fall away. This is what makes her so powerful and hard to replace. Her love is not random anymore. It's intentional. Her friendships are not based on convenience, but on connection. Her trust is no longer free. It's earned through consistency. Those who bring chaos notice the shift first. They feel her distance and try to pull her back into their noise, but she's no longer available for it. She's done chasing validation that costs her peace. She understands that the right connections never demand you to lose yourself. So now she chooses, wisely, quietly, and without hesitation, because peace is her new definition of love. Number 8. Her standards turn into filters. When a Sigma female finally understands her worth, her standards stop being goals and start becoming filters. She's no longer raising them to look impressive or to prove that she deserves better. She's using them as silent boundaries to protect her peace. Her standards become her natural defense system, separating what belongs from what doesn't, without her needing to explain a thing. She's been through enough to know that not everyone deserves access to her world. Her calm didn't come for free. It was built through pain, lessons, and countless disappointments. So now, anyone who tries to enter her life must meet her where she is, not drag her back to where she used to be. Her standards make that clear. These standards are not about luxury or status. They are about energy, honesty, and respect. If someone's words don't match their actions, they are filtered out. If their presence feels heavy instead of peaceful, they're gone before they even notice. She no longer argues about her boundaries. She simply lives by them. Her life itself becomes the filter. People who truly belong in her space don't feel tested. They feel trusted. They match her energy naturally because they live with the same self-awareness and emotional maturity. But those who come with half-truths and hidden intentions quickly realize they can't fake their way through her calm. Her standards are not walls, they are mirrors. They reflect who's genuine and who's pretending. They show who can grow beside her and who only came to take from her. And as she continues to evolve, the filters get finer. Only those aligned with her peace, her growth, and her purpose make it through. That's not arrogance, it's emotional intelligence. Because once a Sigma female knows her value, she stops auditioning and starts choosing. Number 9. Emotional blackmail stops working. There comes a point when a Sigma female stops falling for emotional tricks. The guilt trips, silent treatments, and mind games that once pulled her strings now fall flat. It's not because she has become heartless. It's because she has learned emotional control. She has mastered the art of detachment, not to escape emotion, but to protect herself from manipulation disguised as love. She used to be the one who over-explained, who apologized for things she didn't do, who felt responsible for keeping everyone happy. But that version of her doesn't exist anymore. Now, when someone tries to make her feel guilty for choosing herself, she doesn't flinch. When someone withdraws affection to make her chase, she stays still. She has learned that peace is more valuable than approval. Her calm confuses manipulators because they rely on reaction. They feed off emotional chaos, and she no longer provides it. The moment she stops responding to their tactics, their power over her disappears. She sees through the patterns, the exaggerated tears, the sudden coldness, the dramatic exits. All of it is noise designed to control her choices, but she has become too self-aware to play that game. Emotional detachment doesn't mean she stops caring. It means she cares wisely. She no longer gives her empathy to people who weaponize it. She saves her compassion for those who value it. She no longer runs after explanations from people who already know what they're doing. The more she grows, the quieter her responses become. She has learned that silence starves manipulation. Her strength now lies in restraint, in knowing when to walk away, and in choosing peace over performance. Emotional blackmail stops working because she finally realizes that her emotions belong to her, not to anyone trying to use them against her. Number 10. Her presence feels sacred. When a Sigma female reaches a certain level of self-awareness, something shifts in her energy. It's no longer loud, desperate, or easily accessible. It becomes sacred. People can feel it, even if they can't explain it. There's a calmness about her that feels both grounding and mysterious. Being around her starts to feel like a privilege, not a casual encounter. You sense it in the way she listens, the way she carries herself, and the quiet strength that follows her everywhere she goes. Her presence feels sacred because it's been purified by pain, solitude, and growth. She's not someone who just found herself. She fought for herself. Every boundary she built, every silence she chose, every heartbreak she healed became a layer of wisdom. So now, when she walks into a room, her energy speaks before she does. It says, "I know who I am, and I won't trade my peace for anyone." People who enter her space start behaving differently. They watch their words, they soften their tone, they show respect without being told to. That's because her presence carries weight. She doesn't demand respect. She inspires it. She doesn't chase connection. She attracts authenticity. And those who fail to see her worth the first time rarely get a second chance. Her energy feels clean because it's free from drama. It feels calm because she has made peace with herself. It feels rare because she no longer lives in chaos or competition. When you're near her, you can feel that she values her peace above everything. That energy is contagious and unforgettable. People realize too late that her presence was a gift, not a guarantee. Once she withdraws, the silence she leaves behind feels heavier than her presence ever did. That's what makes her sacred. She doesn't just occupy space, she elevates it. In final words, the day she stopped trying to prove her worth was the day she became unstoppable. When a Sigma female becomes completely untouchable, it's not about pride, ego, or revenge. It's about evolution. She's walked through enough storms to realize that peace is not something you find in others. It's something you build within yourself. She's no longer chasing love, validation, or belonging because she's learned that real power comes from stillness, not struggle. Becoming untouchable doesn't mean she stops feeling. It means she stops entertaining anything that threatens her peace. It's the moment she stops over-explaining, stops over-giving, and starts protecting her time, her mind, and her energy. She becomes calm in ways that confuse people who once fed on her reactions. She becomes quiet in ways that speak louder than any confrontation could. And she becomes selective in ways that turn her world into a sanctuary. If you're a Sigma female watching this, remember this truth. Your peace is your proof. You don't need to explain why you've changed, why you've withdrawn, or why you no longer tolerate what once broke you. Growth has no apology. You've earned the right to protect your space, to walk away from chaos, and to choose yourself without guilt. So stay till the end of this video, because what happens next isn't just transformation. It's liberation. It's where you stop surviving and start thriving. It's where the world finally sees what happens when a woman becomes so self-aware that she no longer needs to be understood, only respected. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.